So we're continuing in our study of the book of Hebrews. We're in chapter 2 today, verses 1 through 4. And I had mentioned earlier in the introductory videos that we are going to be encouraged and challenged, I think, as we go through this book. And this is our first challenge. We'll see this is our first encouragement to really focus on Jesus. Let's just take a look at this. Just 4 verses, so let me read through it for us. He says, "For this reason, we must pay closer attention to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away from it." Let me just stop there. For what reason? For what reason? Well, he's already gone through and explained to us that Jesus is greater than the prophets, is greater than the angels, that Jesus is a coming king that's about to rule. He's waiting, and it's imminent. And for this reason, for all these reasons, we must pay closer attention to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away from it. So it gives us a positive appeal here. Pay closer attention. What he's asking us to do is read, think, apply what we're learning, apply what we're hearing, pay closer attention. I think this involves, for us, taking advantage of all the excellent teaching that's so widely available. For you, I hope it includes sticking within the Word as we go through this book, but also there are other teachers out there. I think of recordings of John MacArthur and Chuck Swindoll and Andy Woods, great teachers that are available to us. I'd encourage you, as you pay closer attention and you expand perhaps your group of people who you're following, I'd stay away from the sensational end times teachers. Teachers who are always seem to be looking at particular things that are happening in the world around them and pointing to that as evidence that Jesus is about to return. I think there's a place for that, but stay away from the sensational ones, people who turn God's word into profit, really. Try to draw a crowd. So be careful of that. And also be careful of teachers who are coming up all the time with something new or novel or unique, teaching that people have never heard from before. I've heard a story from a prominent pastor one time. It really impressed me. He was on vacation, traveling like I do. I went to a church and he sat in on a Bible study. And the pastor who was teaching the Bible study just went on and on and on, coming up with odd and unique things over and over again. And he recognized this prominent pastor, so he went to him afterward and he said, "Have you ever seen any of that in this passage before? Isn't that something?" And the prominent pastor's response was, "No, I've never seen that myself. And neither has anyone ever else." So that was kind of put him in his place. So I think that's a good warning for us to be careful of sensationalizing God's word or looking for unique, novel teaching all the time. Stick with what's been taught. Stick what's in the word. He gives us in the end of verse 1 there a negative warning. Do not drift away. Do not drift away. You can imagine drifting away is like a boat that's become untethered from the dock or cut loose from its anchor. It's an interesting word here. I think he's saying how drift he's not talking about apostasy here. He's not talking about just abandoning the faith in a moment. But drifting away, this gradual, not sudden alienation from God's word. Perhaps we don't pay attention for a day. We get too busy during our day and we neglect God's word. Pretty soon that extends to a few days perhaps a week, and then a week goes on to several weeks and months, and we just kind of drift away from God's word. And he's cautioning us not to do that. Be careful. Be in the word. That's the purpose of this YouTube channel, is to keep you in the word, keep you tethered, anchored. Then he says, for if the word spoken through angels proved unalterable. So when he's introducing here, he's introducing a kind of a rhetorical question. He's making a point. He's making a point in verse 2 that Israel was held responsible for not being obedient to what was delivered to them by angels. So the tradition in Israel was that the law was brought to Moses through the intermediaries of angels, and that those angels brought that word, and Israel, the ancient nation, was held responsible for it and punished when they went away from it. Likewise, he says in verse 3 and 4, these Jewish believers that he's addressing here are going to be held responsible for what they've heard from Jesus and testified to by God. So they've heard this message from Jesus. It's been passed on to them. It's been testified to them by signs and wonders, by God allowing that to happen. So he's saying you're going to be even more responsible. You need to pay attention. And brothers and sisters, don't we fall into that same sort of situation, that we have been given so much revelation. We have more revelation than the prophets ever had. So much more revelation that the apostles, in some sense, had, because we have the whole counsel of God right in our laps, right in our hands, the whole Bible, and we're going to be held responsible for it. So give more time to Jesus. Be intentional about it. Be on purpose about giving him attention and time. Commit yourself or recommit yourself to being in the Word with me 3 times a week. Commit yourself to be spending time daily in God's Word. Have a plan. Write it down. I think writing it down really makes something not only stick in your mind, but it has kind of a directional power over how you use your time. For me, first thing in the morning is how I approach God's Word. And then through the day, I find myself drawn back to it. Maybe that's your experience as well. So not only give more time, pay closer attention by giving more time, but pay closer attention by giving your heart or your commitment or your will, your inner person, to obey Jesus' words, to do what he says. Be intentional about it. Commit to being in the Word, and God will bless you in ways that you can't even imagine right now. Pray that you would stay with me as we go through this, and that you would benefit from it. I'd love to hear how you're growing. I'd love to hear what you're discovering about Jesus and his works as we go through the book of Hebrews. So God bless you, and enjoy your reading in this book.